Welcome to the Political Matrix News. We have the sources, we have the truth from inside the political matrix. Well, gang, it's Political Matrix News time again. Rob Milford, Greg Fink, Scott Miller, covering all over Florida. I'm in Orlando. Greg, wave at the camera. So you are. There you go. He's in Gainesville, probably the most corrupt county when it comes to politics in the entire state. And then that's Alachua County. No, it's only a half hour. We got even more than that. Scott Miller is at the Western Gateway of the Sunshine State. Scott, we're doing this on Tuesday night. It's the 7th. How freaking cold is it in Pensacola? Are you going to get snow or ice tonight?
I don't know about snow or ice, but it is 37 degrees right now. I'm like, dang, son.
Someone said go chill, and there you are, huh?
Yeah, the forecast is only supposed to get down to 32, so we're nearly there.
Well, but that's perfect snow weather. Perfect snow is 30 to 32. Man. Okay.
I don't even get too much colder. My brother's got a whole field full of strawberries we don't want to lose.
Oh, don't you water them ahead of time or something?
It ain't a watering thing. It's if they get too cold, they will just lose all their fruit.
They'll freeze right up.
Oh, yeah, that would.
The plants will survive, but they won't produce any fruit.
Oh, even worse. Even worse. Okay,
yeah.
There's a bunch of things on the dance card to go over. I think one of the things that we will note in history is it was on this day in 2025 that the son of the president-elect Donald Trump Jr. flew to Greenland and met with the Prime Minister of Greenland and leadership from the political parties in Greenland about the U.S. acquiring Greenland. And of course, shades of the Biden crime syndicate. They're in this meeting. Guess who calls and gets put on the speakerphone? President Trump. Yeah. It's like, hey, we understand it's a beautiful country. My son's going to spend some time, go hunt something, because they hunt. That's a subsistence country right there. That is subsistence. You got to go hunt a whale or a reindeer, polar bear, something. They sound delicious. So that really could be the first step in Greenland becoming a United States territory. Wait and see. Guys, I'm going to throw to you on a couple of these things because I saw the headline and didn't read in on it, and that is that Mark Zuckerberg, Mr. Facebook, Mr. Meta has made some major changes or is in the process of making changes on fact-checking and censorship and such like that. I yield to you to take it away on that. Talk to me.
Well, I'll tell you my favorite headline in the entire issue is, Greg's got one article there that we'll go into, but my favorite tidbit of a different article says, the headline is fact-checking firm staff by CNN alums takes Meta axing hard. They were surprised and disappointed. So not only are they losing jobs at CNN, they're losing jobs after they get out of CNN.
I mean, come on. CNN has got to realize they don't have ratings for anything anymore. And now they're going to start whining about this.
At some point, they have to decide whether they are a publicly traded business or an activist organization. Because if they're going to be an activist organization, they need to let their investors know so they can give them their money back.
Yeah, I think the whole thing here is that Zuckerberg saw the writing on the wall from a long time ago. In fact, in this article here, it has like a short little timeline of where Zuckerberg started changing his ideas about, Trump and the movement of the regular American people. And so basically, in July, Zuckerberg praised Trump as a badass after the assassination attempt. In August, it says here, Zuckerberg sent Republican Jim Jordan a letter, basically acknowledging all the mistakes that he made during the 2020 election and the other elections and everything with the wokeness and all the other stuff. In November, Zuckerberg at Mar-a-Lago to basically to talk to the president and pledge $1 million for the inauguration. I think, he's seeing the writing on the wall. And I mean, he made this here big talk to a joint session of Congress way back around 6 or 7 months ago. I think we even talked about it. Basically, where he admitted to doing everything wrong that we ever accused him of doing. Then last week, Zuckerberg announced that he is replacing his head of policy with a very strong Republican called Joe Kaplan, and he's very strong in the conservative movement. And I mean, I think it's very interesting. And now he has appointed Dana White, a very strong Trump supporter, and a very strong person who has no personality similarities with Zuckerberg at all, to his board of directors on Facebook. So it's not like he's just he's crossing the river here to go find some guys here to bring back over to make Facebook great again, because Facebook needs to be great again. Because I mean, the whole thing is that they've plunged so down deep into wokeness and everything else, and I think somebody's seeing the light there.
Well, I'm glad that he's taking these steps. But I've maintained for a long time, and I'll tweak this a little bit, but it needs to be some form of, we need legislation that is some form of this, that that if you are a online platform like that, you can either be a publisher or you can be a platform, but you can't be both.
No,
Because if you have the ability to moderate content in a way that lets you choose wholesale, and frankly, using technology is what they will do.
right,
That you can exclude certain types of ideas and thoughts. If you can do that, then you need to be held accountable as if you had written the article yourself.
yeah, because
If you're not taking steps to do that, then
right,
you can have those neutral protections that insulate you from lawsuits. But if you're the other way, if you're going to be the publisher, well, then when people get disparaged and get get libeled, then you need to be they need to be able to add you to that list.
right,
So you need to elect to either be the publisher or be the platform, but you can't do both.
No, I mean, I think he's also adapting to what Elon Musk was doing with X now. I mean, he's
Sure.
he wants to be doing some very similar stuff. I also think he wants to be in the same crowd as Elon Musk and
That's for sure, too.
Dana White. I think success, invites a lot more success to have a party together, and
For sure.
I think they're gonna see a big difference. I think culturally, because Facebook. I mean, people can say what they want about Facebook or demean it or diminish it all they want. It is a major force in culture,
Of course it
in the
is. Of course
community.
it is.
Yeah.
And if it starts going more toward neutrality, to where it's allowing free speech, where it hasn't in the past, I think it's going to, empower itself or gain a lot of power that it lost in the last several years.
When
Our credibility as well.
when your social media suspension has become a meme that you're using as a badge of honor, then there is seriously something wrong.
Exactly. And so, I mean, so I think this is a great step forward for Zuckerberg to be doing. And I think, it's good. I mean,
For sure.
you really got to realize Facebook started out as an anti-establishment platform.
Exactly.
I mean, and the whole idea that they succumb to the Democrat ways of, basically stifling and diminishing free speech altogether, and basically fact checking it with non-facts.
Right.
I think I kind of woke up to them pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, one man's fact check. One man's fact checking is another man's suppression.
Lie.
Exactly.
Lie is the word you were looking for.
So I think
Because nowadays,
I was trying to be a little more charitable than
nowadays
that, but,
it comes out as, you're entitled to your own opinion. Okay. All right. I got you. So there is that. Does this have an impact, by the way, on political advertising on the internet, on Facebook and X and all of these various platforms?
Well, just on Facebook for Zuckerberg, I mean, X is actually very liberal and very allowing with the political advertising. They are not limiting to your stuff whatsoever. Now, you do have all the bots out there on Twitter that will attack the crap out of you if they don't like your stance. But and I have no idea how they're going to fix the bot issue on Twitter. They're fixing it now, but there's still a lot of them on there. And the same thing is going to be with Facebook as well.
Well, it's the same arms race we've had for decades. You know, they do one thing and then they figure out how to counteract that, then they figure out another thing, and it goes back and forth. And that's just, I think, the nature of the beast, honestly.
Okay, that's pretty fair. Let me see what else. Dana, Zuckerberg. There's a new, as you said, go woke, go broke. Wasn't you that said it, but this is just an indication. I see that now more than this is go woke, go broke, that McDonald's is dropping DEI. I see that there is a major lawsuit, more than 700 current and former employees of McDonald's who filed a class action lawsuit against the company because apparently over the years, if you slept with the manager, performed sexual favors for the manager, you got a better shift. And they all want compensation. Yes. And they all want some level of compensation. Son of a gun. So thank you very much, McDonald's. Nice to know where that Big Mac has been.
They get kids or STDs out of it.
I didn't get any special privileges when I slept with the manager.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, the opportunity.
You know, when I dated Pam Bondi, I didn't get any tickets fixed or anything. So there is that.
And so real quick, so there people are suing for sleeping with the managers, or they're suing because of DEI being taken away?
They are. Let me get the article is on Drudge. Okay, so I just yeah, there is that. I'm scrolling. There's a lot there. By the way, this story is Zuckerberg wears a $900,000 watch. I didn't know you could make $900,000 watches.
Wow.
Well, it only costs $10,000 to make. It's just got a $890,000 idiot tax attached to it.
Okay. By the way, I'm totally in favor. Now that Trudeau is gone in Canada, I'm totally in favor of Wayne Gretzky running for prime minister.
Wayne Gretzky, really?
He would be great. You know, there's no doubt about it. One of the guys on the conservative side of things. Yeah, that's good. That him too. Wait a minute. There's a long line of people. Seth Gordon, and some. Here were the Golden Globes the other day doing fast food giant McDonald's has been rocked by fresh claims. Young staff were subjected to sexual and other forms of harassment by their bosses, and sex for shifts. That's what it was. Sex for shifts. It's a predator's paradise. And just basically 700 current and former employees now taking legal action. One manager offered a worker extra shifts in exchange for sex. Also charges of discrimination, homophobia, and racism. This is in the Mirror, the London Daily Mirror. So anyway, I just thought
you think about this a lot. You think about this a lot of the assistant managers are, and the assistant managers often are the ones that make the schedules. A lot of them are just kids themselves. I mean, not much more. I mean, so it's not shocking to find out that this sort of thing goes on.
I was at a Burger King drive-thru a couple of days ago, and they gave my food to the car, 2 cars ahead of us. They said, well, we don't know where your food is. I'm like, well, do you have the ability to make it again?
All right.
He says, well, we don't really know. I mean, we have your order, but it'll take an hour and a half.
It's Burger King.
Like, this
it
is
should
fast
take
food.
a minute and a half.
Burger King.
Yeah.
Hour and a half,
was that?
Really?
How much was that, by the way?
It was $18.40, and they went in my car. They were going to run my car and just make me wait an hour and a half. I'm like, no.
Oh my God!
Come on, people.
I don't get it.
So graduate high school.
I know, right?
I mean, these are the people who are having sexual favors and sexual progression.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, they've looked to all these politicians for inspiration.
I mean, is it any of this like underage sex?
Yeah. Well, you can't work till you're 16. 16. I mean, it's certainly below the age of consent.
Again. Matt Gaetz never at McDonald's.
It depends on the. I mean, it depends on who we're talking about. There's it can work out a number of different ways.
Yeah, because I mean, they have the whole rule has to be like 10 years separation if the girl's 17 or.
That varies from state to state, and in Florida it's only 7 years.
7 years,
Okay.
yeah. So it's like a 19-year-old manager and a 17-year-old girl. It's not really a big deal.
Yeah. The Washington Post is laying off 4% of their workforce. 4%. That's a serious 4%. That may be more than 4 people. I'm not sure. A top Canadian politician saying that, you know what, we'll annex a couple of American states. We'll take Minnesota and Alaska.
They have it.
And it's like, really? Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
We're going to take Canada.
Yeah, we'll just take all of.
We'll just take.
Yeah.
I'll do the whole damn country.
I talked to people from Manitoba today, and here to start Tuesday was 42 degrees in Orlando. This is get out the parka time. I mean, parka, gloves.
Oh God,
yeah. It's seriously, seriously cold for Orlando, and they, man, oh man, I just can't get over it. And
35 here in Gainesville.
They were in shorts because they're from Manitoba. That is far northern
Bless
Canada.
Their hearts.
You know what they do?
Bless their hearts.
They're fishing guides.
Yeah.
They'll fly out with their plane to some lake that no one's ever been to before, that no one has a name for it. And you get out there and it's fish heaven. All you do is sit there all week, fish. Your biggest problem is running out of bait and beer. And so they resupply you in a couple of days. And that's it.
I would think the beer would be more of a problem.
Is that where Nemo Island is, or out there near Nemo?
No, I know where Point Nemo is, but not Nemo Island.
Look, dude, I can figure out all kind of things to use for bait, but there's no substitute for beer.
Even Canadian beer. The guy actually had lost his arm in an accident, and I said, "How does that thing work?" And he kind of reached and pushed a button, and the hand went from this to this. And I said, "Oh, so you can hold a bottle of Molson?" He goes, "Absolutely." And I can actually use the bottom finger as a bottle opener too. It was like, okay, this
so my one funny Canadian story is the story about John Candy when they were shooting Stripes.
Yes.
And they had he comes down to the United States. I forget what small town they were shooting it in, but Judge Reinhold said he had to continually assure him that they were not screwing with him. There really were, on Sunday, it really was illegal to sell beer. And he thought they were just, as a Canadian, he thought they were just messing with him. And so instead, they set up he bought another hotel room next door and filled up the bathtub with beer that they would bring in once a week using the grips to go transport it. And everyone hung out in his little hospitality suite.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Among other things, let's see, the Louisville, Kentucky, Limestone Springs, Kentucky, Fort Knox, Kentucky. I'm surprised the Army let them do that. The Jim Beam Distillery Company, that was, by the way, at the Russian border crossing and everything else. And the West Point, Kentucky, I've been right there, the Powell track. That was the Czechoslovakian border under the big railroad tracks. I've actually been there. That's by the very world-famous Knob Creek machine gun shoot, the Knob Creek gun range in West Point, Kentucky, which is adjacent to Fort Knox. Speaking of things you love to see on the screen, us. We really would appreciate a like, a share, and a subscription. All three, if not more of the above. And we'll take your comments and critiques and criticisms and high praise anytime you want to do that. But we're going to leave you on a happy note, a very happy note, as January the 6th was yesterday. Look at us. We're all smiling. Look at even Greg. Come on. We're going to leave you with the Vice President of the United States reading the final vote tally on the electoral votes. And we're just going to leave it with this because it's a happy thought. We may make it our freaking ringtone before much. So we roll the videotape. We'll see you next week on the Political Matrix News.
Members of Congress, the certificates having been read, the tellers will ascertain and deliver the result to the President of the Senate.
The undersigned, Deb Fisher and Amy Klobuchar, tellers on the part of the Senate, and Brian Steele and Joseph Morelle, tellers on the part of the House of Representatives, report the following as the result of the ascertainment and counting of the electoral vote for President and Vice President of the United States for the term beginning on the 20th day of January, 2025.
The state of the vote for the President of the United States as delivered to the President of the Senate is as follows. The whole number of the electors appointed to vote for President of the United States is 538. Within that whole number, the majority is 270. The votes for President of the United States are as follows. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamela D. Harris Kamela D. Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes. The whole number of electors appointed to vote for Vice President of the United States is 538. Within that whole number, a majority is 270. The votes for Vice President of the United States are as follows. J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio has received 312 votes. Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota has received 226 votes. This announcement of the state of the vote by the President of the Senate shall be deemed a sufficient declaration of the persons elected President and Vice President of the United States, each for a term beginning on the 20th day of January 2025, and shall be entered together with the list of the votes on the journals of the House and the Senate. Thank you very much.